The first window of the summer opens tomorrow, but it already feels quite busy. Well, certainly to me it does, and that's what's triggered today's video and my thought process, because I want to have a discussion and a catch-up ahead of West Ham going into the summer transfer window, and I want you guys to get involved as well, so don't be shy. In the comments, let me know your thoughts and feelings you have regarding West Ham in the summer transfer window, and I'm looking forward to reading them all because I enjoy it and I care, so get involved. I'm going to share my thoughts, which, as mentioned, has been triggered by what I feel is quite a busy transfer market already. And it's circumstantial. You know, you've got Man United going after Cunha because of his minimum fee release clause, 62.5 million, plus they're desperate, aren't they? Got Chelsea going after Delap because of his relegation release clause, but also because of the Club World Cup. And that's a bit of a blow for England ahead of the Euros, I think. Delap going to the Club World Cup instead of joining England at the Euros this summer. You've got Manchester City chairman sitting down saying they're going to do their business before the Club World Cup. So they start their games on the 18th of June. The transfer window opens tomorrow, runs for 10 days, shuts for just under a week, then opens up again. So I think what we're ready to see is Manchester City be busy over the next 10 days, with the chairman in an interview very boldly has just said, we know what positions we want and we have our top choice and our second choice for each position. Now, they're obviously heavily linked to a couple of players. I think Reinders is the main one that you would expect Manchester City to sign. I think this is where I'm at in what I'm thinking, because you've got, you know, Liverpool as well sold Trent Alexander-Arnold to Real Madrid because of that Club World Cup. And then they've gone and got Frimpong to replace them. And I was a bit naive thinking that perhaps the clubs won't care too much about the Club World Cup. Now, financially, it's huge. There's just under £1 billion in prize money up for grabs. But I thought they would see it as a bit of an inconvenience more than anything. It certainly feels like that from their attitudes towards it. But then when you look at the transfer activity towards it, maybe not. Maybe it's because they're looking at it as a pre-season, that they've got a competitive tournament in the summer where Real Madrid can get Alexander-Arnold in there with their new manager, and Alonso Maresca can get Delap in there and have a look at him. So maybe they're using it as opportunity. And certainly Pep with his players, get his new players in. And the Club World Cup's providing these, I think there's 32 teams, but some of them aren't European, but it's those that do have a summer and a pre-season ahead. I think the clubs are using that tournament as that. And it's a domino effect. And that's what's got me thinking, because we know Manchester City want to trim the squad already. So they're away to sign a couple of players. So there could be 5, 6, 7 players maybe leaving the Etihad this summer. Well, by the 10th of June, all being well, we will know which players are up for sale at Man City. And this is where I look at West Ham and think, well, are we ready? Now, I must stress, I'm perfectly calm right now. There's been a lot of transfer rumours. There will be loads and loads. And I think it's going to be difficult to work out what's genuine and what's real. As I always say, not all transfer rumours are true, but every player we sign, there was a transfer rumour, if that makes sense. So whatever player we bring in, we will get linked to him before we actually sign him. Surprise signings are gone. All you have to do is look at yesterday. Fabrizio Romano put up a tweet telling us that in 4 minutes' time, Liverpool are going to announce the signing of Frimpong. And he was bang on. I don't like it. I think the transfer rumours and stuff I take with a pinch of salt, but that kind of thing, I think, did you really have to put that out? Could you not just let Liverpool announce it in 4 minutes' time? But my point is, we know everything, and that's not going to change. So the players we sign this summer, we will get linked to. We just won't sign every player we're linked to. And we all believe different things, and that's normal, that's good, that's healthy. Believe what you want. Don't believe what other people tell you to believe. Don't believe what I believe. You believe what you want. But when it comes to sort of evaluating transfer rumours this summer, I think it's going to be difficult, because I think under David Moyes, it was easy enough to work out usually which players, because there was a lot of domestic-based players that we'd be interested in and linked to, and so therefore you had an opinion of that player. You would look at that player and go, well, do we need that player? Is it David Moyes' type of player, the position? You would take everything into consideration, and you'd be able to usually be quite accurate as to whether we want that player or not. Under Graham Potter, I think it's going to be very, very difficult, not just because it's a new manager, but I think in terms of trying to guess what Potter wants in terms of, first of all, a position. Does he want a striker? Or are we just going to use Bowen as a striker next season? That's up for debate. And then once you get into nitty-gritty and you go, okay, well, we're going to need a right-sided defender. Are we going after sort of a more traditional right back or a right wing back? And it's going to be hard, I think, to evaluate these transfers. Then on top of that, you've got Kyle Macaulay, an unknown to us as West Ham fans, an unknown role to him. Potter has referred to him as the head of recruitment. And I believe that. I believe he's head of player identification. I think that's his role. In terms of in charge of negotiations, forgive me if I don't believe that it's down to Kyle Macaulay, and forgive me if I don't believe Sullivan is not going to get involved and possibly mess things up, and Brady's going to be doing our take it or leave it deals and stuff like that. That makes me nervous. But trying to park that and just focus on the transfer rumour aspects, that's what I'm discussing. I think it's going to be hard to really know what to believe this summer. And as a result, actually, I'm pretty calm right now. I only ever worry if I feel like we're missing out on our genuine transfer targets. But to do that, I've got to know which ones I believe are genuine. Now, at the minute, I'm getting a bit of a sense that the players we're being linked to in the likes of Denmark and Belgium feel a bit more real. Certainly more real than Kevin De Bruyne and Jacob Ramsey, that's for sure. But I'm calm at the moment because I think there's going to be a lot of work needing done. Whoa. Do not skip this part. Let me pitch this to you, please, because we're having a closing down sale at our online store. I'm going to try and entice you over there to have a look at least, and there might be something you like. Now, it's not quite everything must go. That's not true. Most things must go, though, including this Prague t-shirt, that's on sale. Vazte t-shirt, that's on sale. Paqueta t-shirt, that's on sale. Beer Mat t-shirt, that's on sale. Ramones t-shirt, that's on sale. Julian Dix signed print, that's on sale. Won't be getting any cheaper. Then we've got some mugs. That Hammers Chat mug down to £6. That one's not on sale. It's one of my favourite mugs, though. Look, you gotta use your imagination with the handle, right? There you go. Still £10. Won't be reduced. Massive mug. That's on sale. DNA mug. That's down to £8. Some of these books that you see here, they're on sale. Anyway, we're shutting down our online store in about 5 or 6 weeks' time. So we've reduced a lot of items. We're trying to have a bit of a clear out. And we will relaunch the store in a year's time. So anything that doesn't sell, it's not the end of the world. We'll just have them when we relaunch. But we're trying to get rid of some of the older lines. So go to hammerschatstore.com. Links in description, links in the pinned comments. Just Google it, Hammers Chat online shop. It will come up at the top of Google. Hopefully. There isn't a specific page. It's across the whole website. So go have a look. There might be something you like. Might be something for your old man for Father's Day. Might be something you can send to your kids or wife and say, hey, get this for my birthday, for Father's Day. Get it for Christmas and keep it for Christmas. I know you're thinking Christmas it's June tomorrow, right? It's not that far away. Get Christmas shopping now. You buy a few items from the store for Christmas now. They arrive. Put them in the cupboard. Forget all about it. Then in December, when you go Christmas shopping, it costs a lot. Don't worry. You've already done a bit of it for your loved one at Hammers Chat. You can support us and pick up a bargain. Everyone wins. hammerschatstore.com. I just hope we're prepared for it. I hope that we've got that mentality that the Manchester City chairman has, which is we know exactly what we want and we know exactly who we want. But to some extent, I don't think we can, because if we look at Man City as that example, there's good players leaving the Etihad. You don't need to know who's leaving. But I feel quite confident there will be good players going out, whether it be on loan or they're selling, whether it's James McAtee, whether it's Jack Grealish. There will be good players leaving Man City. But perhaps at this point, while we can take a stab, we may not know 100% which ones are available. But I do hope that we are looking at situations like that, looking at Liverpool with Harvey Elliott and thinking, right, do we want this player? Can we get this player on loan? And as I've repeated before, I really want to see us take advantage of the loan market this year. I don't think we did a good job of it last year. Carlos Soler was okay. Evan Ferguson, less said about that, the better. So I do hope that we're a bit more on it. Now, it does pose the question, well, will Potter play the loan player, or will we have another Evan Ferguson situation on our hands? And we perhaps won't know the truth regarding what happened there. Was it because we didn't have the option to buy, so Potter decided I'm not going to play him? Did something happen? Was it a fitness thing? It can't really be an ability thing, can it? I think that's a fair thing to rule out here, given that Potter knows Ferguson. Maybe we'll find out the truth when Ferguson plays for Ireland. Making sure I get that one right. Maybe when Ferguson's on international duty now, really. I think they play 6th, 7th of June or something like that. It'll be the similar dates to when Scotland plays. So it'll be 6th, 7th, 8th of June. Ireland will play. Ferguson will be on international duty. That tends to be when players speak. I always find, well, certainly West Ham, if Paqueta went away with Brazil, or especially Soufal going away with Czechia, that's when they start giving it a little bit of this. Because sometimes they'll have journalists they trust back in their homeland, and that's when they'll perhaps be a little bit more open. And I don't think it's a bad thing. So we may get a little bit of light shed on the Ferguson transfer in the next week or so. If the journalists asked him about it and say, why didn't that work out at West Ham? What went wrong? We may find out. But I'm going to give Potter the benefit of the doubt and say that if we did get in the right players on loan, he will play them. And I just hope that that's a market we go after. But this summer is the first summer I'm a bit nervous about what those around us are going to be doing. And I didn't realise it until Liam Delap. During the week, reliable sources came out and said, Everton have made a proposal to Liam Delap. He went up to Liverpool, met David Moyes, they told him exactly what they want to do, blah, blah, blah. I thought, whoa, we better not go there, because if Delap goes to Everton, that's them improving quite a lot. So when I seen he was going to Chelsea, I thought, well, that's the wrong move. I don't think he should be going there. But I was relieved that he wasn't going to Everton and he wasn't going to Nottingham Forest. I thought, I'm glad he's going to someone that I would not consider to be a direct rival. And I know people say, I think they're going to drop off next season. Not relegated, but I think they're going to come into our territory in the league table. So that's why I consider them sort of league rivals, if you like. In Man United, I'm keeping Man U in there. Man U are linked to him. Man U, Forest, Everton, that's the three. I thought, I hope he doesn't go to one of them, because that will immediately make that team better. And I think because I feel like everything's up for grabs next season for West Ham at this point, before we conduct any business, whilst I'm hopeful we'll do good business, I'm also hoping that those teams mentioned and others, like Brentford and Crystal Palace and Wolves, don't do any business, or good ones anyway. I don't want to see them do a deal. I think, that's going to improve them. I'm hoping that the opposite will happen, because I'm a bit worried, and it will be. I think the reason I'm calm at the minute, I'm almost like pushed pause on my hopes and fears going into next season. It's not going to change from today, tomorrow, to Monday, to Tuesday. It's not going to change unless something drastic happens. So it's like paused at the minute. But that's going to be determined by transfers we make. But that may be difficult because we are probably going to sign players I've never heard of. And I like it. I like going on that voyage of discovery with them. It's exciting buying players that you know, but it's also not as exciting, right? I think that's fair. When we signed Kilman, it was nice, but it wasn't. I thought we've overpaid for an average Premier League centre-back, right? So it was difficult to get excited by that signing. But when we sign players that I've never heard of, I get excited, not because I think, this guy's going to be a success at West Ham. It's because I'm getting a player that I don't know. I'm looking forward to discovering him at West Ham. I hope that makes sense. I'm thinking in this world we live in now, where football is so accessible, and I appreciate we're in a bit of a privileged position because we've got Wise Scouts. So even these players in Belgium and Denmark, we can go on and we can watch footage. I could watch the last Club Bruges game. I could watch the entire game if I want to, just to get a good evaluation of the players we're being linked to. So, in this day, we know more about other countries than we perhaps did. There's no discovery of top talent anymore, I don't think. There is for me, because I don't play Football Manager, I don't play FIFA, I don't know, I don't watch all these leagues, so I don't know about who the top wonder kids are in the country and stuff like that. So I feel like I'm a bit blinkered when sometimes we get linked to players and people in the comments, here's my thoughts on him, and that's good, I like it. I'm thinking, how on earth have you heard of this guy? I've never heard. I'm not saying I should have, but I think, well, what are you watching? What are you reading? How is your knowledge so vast and impressive? I'm a bit jealous. Teach me your secrets. But anyway, I think we're going to bring in a few unknowns this summer. I'm looking forward to it, but because I don't know them, it's hard for me to go, sorted it. We could go get in 2 midfielders that Potter absolutely loves to bits, Macaulay loves to bits, the data looks fantastic, but because I've never seen them play, I can hardly go, sorted it, that's it, we're going to be fine next season. I won't know. Likewise, I'm also not going to say, oh, that's a worry, we're getting relegated. My excitement to discover will go up. My confidence in us having a good season won't move because I don't know the player. I'm hoping this makes some sort of sense. My other small worry is selling players because I think we're going to struggle. I think we're going to struggle more than we think. And when I say we, I don't mean you and I mean perhaps the club. I do get this sense that a club are like, oh, we'll just sell Kudus for 70 million, it'll be fine. I feel like that's what's coming out of the club a little bit. And I'm worried about the price we'll get for him, but also B, when. And I think this is important, when we sell a player. Because if we really are in a position we've got to sell before we buy, we better sell quick. We better sell players fast. And that's why I think Aguerd is so vital to us. Because he should be the easiest one to sell here. Given that there's clubs wanting him. Plus his transfer value isn't that high. And now look at Brentford with Mbomo. There's a lot of interest in him. And then you've got Bayer Leverkusen in advanced negotiations over Flecken. So that means that they can go get their goalkeeper target. They can go get other players. You look at Wolves with Cunha. It's expected to go through very, very soon. Wolves have just sold a player for 62.5 million. And I appreciate you're going to say, yeah, but they've just lost the best player. They've got to replace him. Correct. But we are also preparing to sell one of our best players in Kudus. We've got to replace him. My point is, if Wolves sell Cunha in the next week or two, they can go replace him immediately. We can't do that with Kudus because we're sat here waiting for someone to come in and buy him. And I think that's my biggest concern going into this summer transfer window. But it's not, it's my second biggest. My biggest one's David Sullivan, and it will be David Sullivan. My second biggest one is being able to sell our players. I think it's important. And I think we might struggle. And while we are doing that, I think other clubs that I consider to be rivals in terms of league position, I think they'll be selling the player. And it might not be players who want to sell, but they will be taking money in, which allows them to go and start signing the replacements. And we might not go after the same players. Us, Brentford, Wolves, we all need an attacking midfielder, right? Assuming Mbomo goes, we're all going to need someone of similar ability and profile. We might not all identify the same player, but there's a possibility we will. There's a possibility that when Jack Grealish becomes available, lots of clubs are going to go, oh, we'll have him on loan. We need to be in a position that if we want him, we might not, but if we do want him, we need to be in a position that we can also make that bid. Someone left a really good comment on yesterday's video about Kelleher, the Irish goalkeeper, and said if we do go toe-to-toe with Brentford for a player, it'd be interesting to see who that player picks. Can we still beat Brentford to the signing if we go after him? I think yes. Because of that, we can pay more wages than Brentford. We can. And it's the same with Bournemouth. I was just speaking to someone this morning on this channel about Kepa, about how Bournemouth can't afford his wages, so they're looking at other goalkeepers instead. But we could possibly afford Kepa's wages if he drops down to, a similar wage to what Areola's on. Can Bournemouth afford 120 grand a week? Probably not. Can we? We probably still can. So we will have an advantage over these clubs, but we start missing out on players to these clubs that we are genuinely interested in. And we may never know. We may never know. I think that would be a bit of a blow for the club. But I think the club just have to make sure we're in the best position so that if a player becomes available, which a lot of them are away to, we can move if we want them. Anyway, that's my random thoughts. I hope it makes sense. I haven't planned it. That's my notes for today. Look, there's nothing there. If you're thinking there's nothing written down. I've got no notes today. Off the cuff, there you are. That's it. But that's my thought process. It just feels like it's busy, and the season hasn't even finished. We've got the Champions League final today and the playoff final tomorrow. The transfer window opens tomorrow. So for me, the season finishes tomorrow when that full-time whistle goes in the playoff final. But yet the new season sort of feels like it starts tomorrow as well, with the transfer window opening up for 10 days. It's going to be busy. And I think by the 10th of June when it closes, because of Man City and the domino effects, we'll know a lot more as to where we stand and who's available. The loan market, though, and please can we take advantage of it, because I think there's going to be some really good players available on loan from Premier League clubs. This Chelsea are going to have players available on loan. Liverpool possibly. Man City definitely. And I just hope we are in a position that we can go after them. But it all depends, of course, if Kyle Macaulay and Graham Potter want them. They might not, but I certainly do. Anyway, right, enjoy your weekend. Hope you have a fantastic one, whatever you're up to. I'll be watching the final today and the final tomorrow. But before you go, please do drop a like on it, subscribe to Ham's Chat. I'll catch you in a bit.